Welcome back. Now in this lecture we're going to talk about the return books function, and the only difference here with the return book function is that instead of issuing a book, it refers to returning it. So instead of saying book.issued to be true, you're setting it to be false. Now we're going to check both these functions as we didn't check in the previous lecture after we have written these functions. So let's write return book, and of course return book is pretty similar to this one, and it's just false right here. Now let's try these functions. Let's see if they actually work. So book successfully returned and book successfully issued. Now we have two functions here, issue book and return book. That's the only difference when it comes to return book and the issue book function. So let's go to just a little refining here. Now let's go to the app.py and change our function. Now in option 4, we know instead of find book we want to do, well, issue book, and we're not passing the ID, we're going to ask the user for ID. We can actually try this. We're first going to have to load the books from the disk. Then we say, okay, I want to issue a book. 1 is the ID, could not find the book you're looking for. That's fine. Now I want to issue this book, so we'll see a change here to true. 1, 2 is the ID. So let me book successfully issued, and if I go to bookstore.dat, I will see the true here. If I save the book first, to save books locally, and you should see a true here is changed to true. Now what about the return book method? Well, we do the pretty much same thing. We say, okay, else if option is 5. As you can see here, the 5 is for return a book, and we're not printing this, of course. And that's all you have to do. Let me show you how it works. So I first of course have to load all the books from the disk. Then I say, okay, I want to return a book. No problem. Which book do you want to return? I want to return, well, this book, the 1, 2. You will see that it'll change to false. Book successfully returned. Please press enter to continue. And I have to save the books locally as well. Now I could have done this without writing these functions, but I want to make sure that you write these yourself and get enough practice. Now it should be false, as you can see right here. Now why did it do it? I mean, when I passed the book here, why did it work here? Well, because as you can see, I showed you before that this books gives an address, and it is stored at a specific address in your memory. And when you're passing this book here, the address doesn't change. The address of the book class doesn't change. This class is stored in a specific address, as you know. And when I pass the address here and I get that ID and I set it's issued to false, the issued value is changed at that specific instance, for that specific instance at that specific address. It's not that new object is created to cater your needs in this specific function. So that's how classes change. Now in reality, you would not write .issued equals false. That's a bad practice. You would write a set issued function right here, and that goes into the object-oriented programming domain. But what you can do, what's better, to write .issued equals false, or to make a set issued function that takes care of whatever you entered. Oh, is it an integer? Did you enter some wrong value? If you want to process things, you can do a lot of stuff. Taking input, you can process all that stuff right here in the book.py in the class. So that was it for the return book function and issued book function. Implementing that in the next lecture, we're gonna update a book. So I'll see you in the next one.